At Easter 2016, I went on a journey to Europe, Ireland, to try and find out who are we really? And do we have relatives? Where did we come from? What is it about our Irish heritage that makes us proud to be McCarthy's? This is my story, the story of taking my dad home to meet his relatives.
Hey guys, I've just arrived across the border to County Kerry. I've got about 40 kilometres to go to get to Killorglin, and pretty much all throughout the trip it's almost like it's foggy or smog or something like that. There's a lot of cloud over all of Ireland, and I've just texted Dad to tell him that I've made it to County Kerry. I mean, he's a little bit ecstatic, as you can imagine. So we're almost at our granddad's birthplace, and it's pretty amazing. So I guess we are today who we are because of James Justin, and I'll let you know once we get into County Kerry. Just thought I'd give an update. Bye.
This is the Grove Lodge in Killorglin, County Kerry, in Southern Ireland, and it's situated on the banks of the River Lawn, where my relatives once worked this river, predominantly fishing and working the land around the river. I'd found where we lived, I'd found where we started. Our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our great-great-grandparents. That was our cousin Stan, at Easter, with his sister Olive, also our cousin. They were rattling off the names of my granddad's brothers. There were 10 of them, and one sister who remained in Killorglin. At Easter, I was getting closer to finding out more about Killorglin in County Kerry. This is the church, St James, of which my grandfather and his many brothers and parents' parents' had their baptisms, weddings, and of course their funeral services held. This bridge over the River Lawn was built the same year my granddad was born, 1886. All 10 brothers, it turns out, emigrated from Ireland in the early 1900s. One sister remained. That sister, Mary, lived until 1950s in this very town and never saw her brothers again. After arriving in Killorglin, I looked further afield. I needed to find Ballymacprior, the name that we had that signified the place where our granddad, James Justin, had lived as a child, through to a teenager, we believe. I looked around County Kerry and Killorglin. The serenity, the countryside was just gorgeous. I went to the town hall car park and asked a few people whether they knew of anyone. They took me to a place they thought was the right place, but it turned out it wasn't. Later that day, I returned to an area which a local thought might have been Ballymacprior. To my surprise, when I knocked on the door, a man who looked like my uncle said to me, "What am I doing here?" I told him. He invited me in by saying, "You better come in, son." This was the start of a journey that would spread through to Christmas of 2016. Success. I'd found a cousin. This is Stanley Brick.
All I know is my mother corrected me at one time because I'd
I have the tent.
There's two versions of one name that, people call them for short. And she told me I had two doors. It should be one person.
I continued on my journey to find more relatives. Meeting Cousin Stanley was awesome, yet there was more to come.
Is part of this building.
This is Cousin Eric, a former school principal in Killorglin.
Yeah.
And James would have been
Cousin
here
Eric took me to the school where my granddad had attended, along with his siblings.
Drill shed.
A very good storyteller as well.
In there was a big shed there.
And that was the boys' school.
And it was, the girls' school was here, and Jackie was the other side, was the girls' school. And up just there. So that's the site of both schools.
From the 1800s.
Yeah. And that was built.
Over the next couple of days, I would learn more and more on this journey, meet more and more cousins. I would also visit the gravesite of my great-grandparents and their parents. A very moving moment. This started to make me think, I must bring my father here.
It's Monday, the 21st of March 2016. Killorglin Cemetery, Killorglin, Southern Ireland, County Kerry. This is the gravesite of the McCarthys, from whom we are built, from whom we never met, but we are part of. This is Grandad James's father's gravesite, Daniel McCarthy. Dad's grandfather.
The next day, I took some time out and visited a castle in Cover Tomorrow, I was going to be shown from Cousin Stanley the old homestead in the chimney from the original building, which hasn't had a fire lit in it for 110 years. It's situated at Ballymacprior. It was going to be quite an exciting day, and one which would bring me to a conclusion this Easter, and return home to bring my father here.
Wow. So that is a bit of the chimney from the original house.
Original house.
So
you see, what happened was they could not use the old stone house for anything because they could have it without a roof, which was a thatched roof, but they had onto it a building for cows, a sheet iron roof and timber sides, because otherwise the rates
would be expensive. Phenomenal.
There was rates already as it was, and they were difficult to pay.
Okay.
And that was it.
Boxing Day 2016, we're at Auckland Airport heading to Ireland,
Captain.
Dublin.
How you feeling?
This is Dad's first ever long-haul flight. He was very excited, as I was for him, to visit his own father's country town.
I'm going to sleep because it's all basically dark all the way, so yeah, it's a huge aircraft.
And we just spoke to the captain literally, and how long did he say the flight time was?
It was about 16 hours and 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Instead of 17 hours, something.
Great.
So yeah, this will be a huge experience. On one of these things down here. We were on the right aircraft because that was the captain that was heading towards it.
All right, for now, it's a very good bye.
After 17 hours non-stop, we'd arrived in Dubai. Dad appeared tired and overwhelmed. He, however, remained optimistic to continue on this journey to Dublin.
What do you think?
Unbelievable.
Hey, say hi to everyone.
Hi.
Where are you?
We're in Dubai Airport. This bloody place.
How was the flight?
Unbelievable.
And what time of the day is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, once again the captain has switched the seatbelt sign on. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened. Refrain from using the toilet or opening the hard drives during this time. Thank you for your understanding.
The journey from Dubai to Dublin took another 8 hours and was on a 777 and a little bit more comfortable. We made it. We were soon going to be landing in Dublin. After a 27-hour journey, we were landing in Ireland. For my dad, his dream had come true. Here we were in Dublin. We spent the next number of hours getting through the airport, making our way through to our hotel, and then got on a bus and explored Dublin. He'd made it.
You're in Ireland.
Oh, at last, we made it.
So it's the 28th of December, and even though it's getting dark, it's only about 4 o'clock. Dad, you're in Dublin, that's behind you. How do you feel?
Now that I've come into the middle of Dublin with all these Dubliners around me, and the place is just absolutely booming, and just been to the most genuine Irish shop you could ever think about. I'm just blown away about the buildings, everything, and it's.
Do you feel like you're in Ireland now?
I'm certainly in Ireland now, that's for sure. Couldn't be in a more Irish place than I ever tried. And I'm so blown away that yeah. This is only the start, so what the hell is going to be like the finish, I don't know.
Well, we'll find out more
We
on
sure
day
will.
2 to follow. For now,
sure
good
will.
evening.
We were joined on this journey by one of my best friends from Melbourne, Australia, Sean Colgan. Sean had flown over on a separate aircraft and we met him at the airport. It was great to have him here. This evening we went for a bit of a stroll back to the bus to go to the hotel and have some sleep.